Welcome to the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong, and today we have an amazing guest. This is an individual that I see almost on a yearly basis at one of the biggest conferences in the world. And I was just telling him, he has one of the biggest energies, biggest positivity. Every time I see him, people flock to him. People want to get to know him. People want to talk to him. And it's no question why. He has this amazing aura where he just walks in and everybody wants to hear what he has to say. And that's obviously very important because he is somebody who's an expert at what he does. He has 7, 8, 9-figure M&A deals. He's an expert in building buy-side ecosystems, optimizing post-merger integrations, and also scaling multi-location operations for enterprise value accelerations. He executes what other only talk about, and he's also a podcast host of the show M&A Profits, the lessons from the trenches. And obviously, as you can probably tell already, he is somebody to make things happen, and he always makes it work as well. So please welcome dental roll-ups expert, M&A specialist, a podcaster, and also a mastermind host, Mr. Craig Keegan.
I feel like applauding after that. That's just amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing this guy.
Well, you see this guy every single morning when you look in the mirror, so you should be in awe every single morning.
Oh, thank you so much, Fong. I really appreciate that.
Well,
You are such an inspiration with what you do. And before I come on a podcast, I always research the person. And the reason that I say this is whenever you're going to meet someone, or even virtually, you need to do your research and understand who you're talking with and about. And that really does show respect for the person that you're dealing with. And I looked at you and I was just blown away. I don't know how you do everything that you do. Your resume is just amazing. So, and tell me about this Mark Wahlberg. I got to ask you about that one. That was pretty impressive. So yes.
Well, thank you very much for saying that, and thank you very much for giving some insights to me as well. Much appreciated. And yes, I totally agree. When we meet people, we should get to know them a little bit better before we jump into it. Because sometimes when we get interviewed by people who don't do any research or don't have any idea who you are, there's this disconnect sometimes. And it's like, oh, you already asked that question. How do I answer that question again differently? And they're not really paying attention sometimes. But so once again, much appreciated. Thank you very much for doing what you do. And can't wait to get to know a little bit more about what you do. Because like I said, I see you on a yearly basis. We're due to meet each other again in a couple weeks here. Very excited about that. So share with us your journey. How did you become the person you are today, who's dealing with 7, 8, 9-figure deals and podcasting and speaking and connecting with so many people from all over the world? How did you get there?
Well, you've heard of the Web 2.0 and all of this sort of stuff. Well, if you look on my forehead, I've got a big V there because I'm the 5th version of me. I wasn't this person previously. And I can see the 6th version of me coming down the road there. It's just down there and I'm reaching out to grab it now. It is a journey. It's not, you don't just arrive somewhere. You work hard and you go through different transformations to get to where you are. Now, I started off in IT. I started in the time before they had PCs. I started when faxes were coming about. And so I've been around for a long time. I was in IT for quite a while, and how I got in, I've been doing mergers and acquisitions for 25 years or so. And how I got into that was from an IT perspective. I fell into it. There were people in trouble, so I got called and went on in, and I didn't know what a merger and acquisition was at all. And yeah, it just went on from that. And then I started getting calls from the big four, KPMG, PwC, when they got into trouble with acquisitions. And I was brought in. I remember one that I did, and I won't mention the name, but I had a bit of conversation with it, and I described it as, at the end of what they described to me, and the time frame they had, I described it as a steam train going down a hill with a brick wall at the end, and no brakes.
That paints a pretty vivid picture.
And they still hired me to do the draw. You get to a point when in projects like that where you have go, no go meetings. Are we going to go ahead with this or not? Because the risks are just so high.
Mm.
And that particular one, 1 minute before the go, no go meeting was when we got over the final hurdle.
Oh, wow.
And that was $1 billion M&A, that one. So it was a big one. And yeah, so the journey has been a bit of a curve here and there. I have predominantly been on as soon as the deal is signed off, they give it to some poor sucker to say, here, make it happen. Well, that was me. And I said that I've been doing M&As for 25 years. This year, I've been doing roll-ups. Now, there is a big difference between roll-ups and M&As, and a lot of people don't understand the difference. They may not have even heard what a roll-up is. But from a merger and acquisition perspective, generally what happens is Big Brother buys a little guy and then they bring it in to the fold and Big Brother, they just absorb it. Well, that doesn't happen just like that. A lot of planning goes into it, and then you get someone like me in to say, okay, there's the template of what Big Brother looks like and what Big Brother wants. I've got all these rough edges and these extra bits around the side. So I get there with a hammer and chisel and I chisel them all off. And in the past, and I'm not, remember, this is version 5 of me, not version 4. In the past, I would have done whatever it takes to get that across the line. In actual fact, last January, I ended up in hospital as a result because I was working 17 hours a day, 33-degree temperature and 98% humidity. So acting like a 20-year-old rather than a 58-year-old. But yes, version 4 of me would have made that happen no matter what the implications. Version 5 of me realizes, and maybe I'm just a slow learner, it is all about people. And this was the transformation for me. It's all about people. And every component of the acquisition, the implementation, the finalization of it, it's all done and dusted. It is all about people. And you mentioned that I've got a podcast. Every single person that I've had on that podcast has said the same thing,
right,
that it's all about people, which goes to show that I hang around people that are smarter than me. Yay for me, because they've all learned this lesson and I took so long to learn it.
I totally agree. The thing is, nothing ever happens without people. And everybody goes, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? Well, don't worry too much about the details. Be connected with the right people. Once you are connected with the right people, then all the other stuff will fall into place. The technical stuff will fall into place. The challenges, the questions, the how to overcome those challenges, those will come into place because you have the right people around you who's able to show you how to do it, or to show you how to overcome it, or to show you how to like avoid it. So nothing ever happens without people. So like for you to be able to connect with so many different people, I think that's absolutely amazing. And it takes a certain type of personality and characteristic for you for you to even do so. So what would you say is your secret weapon when it comes to building those relationships and being able to connect with people?
It's actually being interested. It's being, for example, I mentioned that doing research to come on here to show respect for who you are and to understand who you are and what you've done. That is about being interested in that person, thoroughly interested, not just cosmetic about, oh, I'm here and blah. Yes, you've done an interview with Mark Wahlberg. Wow. But no, it's actually being totally and thoroughly interested in that person. That's where that connectivity comes from. Now, you mentioned that we caught up last year. I was at that seminar, and I met a lady there, and she came up to me on the very last day because it was a 5-day session. And she came up to me on the very last day and she said, well, actually, I went up to her and she said to me, she said, I haven't met anybody here that wants to help me. And I said, oh, I said, no, it is not about you. I said, how are you helping others? What are you proactively doing to go out and find ways to help other people? That's what it's about. And I said, when you actually go out and do that, it will come back to you. It won't come back to you today or maybe next week. But if you are in people's minds because you've shown commitment to them and you've shown absolute interest in them and you've added value to them, it will come back to you. People will know you for who you are and what you've done for them. So when you talk about the people, I started off working in a factory. And so I've gone from dealing with fitters and turners. I then did a lot with defense. So then I started working with soldiers and office workers and miners. And so I've worked literally at ground level right the way up. And I look up above me and I've got a plaque up there that was given to me by Victoria Police, one of the largest police organisations in the world, because I went in and did some work for them and I gave briefings to police command on a weekly basis. So the top level of Victoria Police on a weekly basis. So it's being able to talk to the person right the way at the coalface, all the way up to the executive level, and still being interested in them. That's how you do it.
Very nicely said.
I'd love to tell you my 4 rules if I could.
Oh, sure, of course. Share with us the 4 rules.
Because I think that they're really relevant to that question as well. When I go into business or when I work with someone, I always go through my 4 rules. 1, tell me what you can do. 2, tell me what you can't do. And that's okay, because there's always someone out there that can. I just need to know. Rule number 3, never lie to me or my customer. And rule number 4, never ignore me or my customer. And only once have I ever found someone that's had an issue with those rules. But
That's very
I
true.
like to put it out there to show who I am and how I work.
And some people might go, wow, those rules they're fairly self-explanatory and they're fairly, it's obvious that's what you want. But it's surprising how many people do not follow those rules sometimes.
It is.
Which goes to show, like, simply by kind of asking those questions, you could really weed out certain people that you want to or not want to work with. And it's just that one simple step. And so many people just jump into partnerships, just jump into joint ventures without just thinking about those 4 questions at all. And then they wonder why things don't work out. And it's just an extra step. If you take that extra step, go through those 4 questions, and more likely not, you would be able to protect yourself more than ever. So thank you very much for
But
that.
also, I'm accountable now that I've verbalized it. I've made myself accountable to this person. I have to keep to those rules as well.
Exactly. Very,
So,
very well
yeah,
said.
there's a gift for you people.
Awesome. Something that you mentioned at the beginning there was, okay, you started in IT, and then you got into M&A, mergers and acquisitions, without really knowing what mergers and acquisitions is. Now,
Yeah.
from what I understand, in order for you to be successful in mergers and acquisitions, you need to be very good at speaking with people and connecting with people. And you showed us your superpower, and that is to be very, very interested. But that characteristic, being able to connect and talk, is not what an IT person is generally known for. So,
You are totally correct there.
so
Now,
how does that work?
I got into real estate and I went and did a real estate course with a guy called Rick Otton. And I was still in IT. Within 12 months of working with this guy and him changing my view and changing my language, the way that I express things, in the same IT role, I doubled my six-figure income
Wow.
within 12 months. So it was about learning how to speak and how to use the right words. Now, right now with the dental roll-ups, I describe myself as a dream maker. Rather egotistical, isn't it? But anyway, let's go through and explain why. And that's because you've got people in a dental environment, you've got your receptionists, your hygienists, the people up the front, and then you've got your dentist who's probably the owner. But where do they go? They're there. They've got no career ahead of them at this stage. So, and they're just employees. So the question that I ask them, and this is why it's relevant to your question, is I ask everybody what they want to be, where they want to go, what their dreams are. And oh, and they may not have thought of it as well. What if they're a great practice manager? I know you've been a great practice manager here for the last 5, 6, 8 years. Would it be of interest if you were a group practice manager of, say, 5 or 6 dental practices? Would that add to your life? So it's about how you can add value to people's lives and make them special, make them feel special, and give them things that they just don't dream of because they're just so downtrodden. This is their lot in life. But it's not. With a little bit of strategy, a little bit of creative ways of viewing things, you can go to them and you can find a way to add value, extra value to their life.
Right.
And that's how I connect with people is I go, for example, with a dental practice owner, I don't go in there and say, hey, do you want to sell your practice? I say, okay, what would you do 2 years after you exit from your practice?
They didn't think that far ahead.
They don't think that far ahead, do they?
They
No.
just keep on thinking, I want to get out, I want to get out, I want to get out, let's sell it. And then that's it.
And the issue is that there is a great remorse, a sense of loss. And when they do exit without having that vision 2 years down the track,
Right.
there's just such loss to them. They don't know what to do when they wake up the next day. And that leads to depression. And so I like to focus first on what are they going to do 2 years later and then work backwards.
Right.
That's how I connect with people.
Very, very well done. You went from M&As, then you started doing all these roll-ups, and then you went to podcasting and speaking. Can you share with us the aha moments of each stage? So you're already doing all these M&As, you're doing amazing work here, make very, very successful. Was there still an aha moment when it came to dealing with roll-ups?
Oh, yes. Uh, the probably about 4 months ago. Now, I, everybody that does a podcast does it for different reasons. Now, one of the reasons that I was doing a podcast and I'm interviewing exceptional people within the M&A industry and the business world. And I think it was podcast 26. And the guy said to me, he said, Craig, what are we doing here? I said, my mistake. I said, sorry, did you not realize you're in the middle of a job interview? I said, my podcast is actually a job interview in disguise as a podcast. I said, I'm looking for the best people in the world to work with. And so that pretty much sets the scene. So I've been accumulating great people from around the world. And 4 months ago, I was interviewing a guy in Dallas, in Texas. And I got off the podcast. This guy's done M&As, he's run hospitals, he's just so overqualified. And when you go to employ someone, you always want them smarter than me. Oh, sorry, smarter than yourself. They're generally smarter than me, but you want them smarter than
Man,
yourself.
you're so humble. I mean, give yourself some credit.
So this guy was just brilliant, and I really enjoyed spending time with him. So I got off, and the next day I got back to him. I said, "We need to catch up again today." I said, "Well, I'm doing this roll up here in Melbourne." I said, "I want to work with you. I think you can do this over in Dallas as well. What do you think? Shall we explore this a bit further?" So I spent the next 2 weeks putting together I'll call it a licensing strategy, a plan on how to for him to do it. So that was a aha moment for me. Oh, I thought I was just doing this for myself, and I was going to be the. Now I've got the Dallas, and then I met someone in Dublin, and this afternoon I'm talking to someone in Auckland. So now I've got to take myself out of Melbourne, move up a level, take a global role. And so that meeting in Dallas was really an aha moment. I was playing too small and I had to lift my game.
For somebody who works with so many people from all over the world, like people here probably just caught on the fact that you're in Melbourne right now, in Australia. You were talking to
Yes.
people in the States. I know you're gonna be talking to people in Europe and doing deals here and there. Have you found anything different with regards to how business is done? Like lots of people go,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
you can't talk to those people. It's a bit different, and you don't understand the culture. You have to do all this stuff. Is there that big of a difference when it comes to getting things done?
Yes. And it was Dallas. Remember, I said I spent 2 weeks putting it all together?
Mhm.
Well, when I was doing it, I realized again, it is a different environment because they've got uh, city laws, they've got state laws, they've got national laws. It's all very complicated over there in the US.
Mhm.
So for an simple Australian to go and try and understand that, it took a little while to figure that out. But what I also figured out was the buy box that I had for here in Melbourne was vastly different to the buy box that they have in the US. A small practice over in the US is 8 seats. A small practice in Australia is 1 to 2 seats. They're playing at a much bigger level. So I had to come to grips with, okay, I'm going to have to change the strategy here a bit. So instead of buying 30 practices in Melbourne, as an example, I only need 20 practices over in the US, over in Dallas. So it was a matter of understanding the environment and understanding scale. So yes, the business side of things is different. The people are not different,
I see.
but the business side, yes,
Like the
because you've got different.
fundamentals are fairly similar as well. You just have to kind of tweak how you address it or how you approach it.
That's correct, yes. But as we started this today, it's all about people, isn't it?
Exactly. So
And
so
yep,
yeah,
sorry.
when it comes to like you all now having that podcast now, you're disguising it where it's actually an interview process, which I honestly I think that was very very clever. Because indirectly, I think a lot of us who's doing podcasts somewhat is to see, hey, who can we work with? Who can we build a
Mm,
relationship with after the podcast and go, hey, let's connect again later and all that kind of stuff. This whole conversation is really to get to know each other, to know if we can, in fact, work with each other in the future. So I really love that comparison. Now, when it comes to podcasting, you're doing even more speaking and you're doing even more connecting on a virtual stage now. Was there anything with regards to that transition that was surprising for you versus doing all the M&As and roll-ups?
It's surprising how much work is involved in producing a podcast. And in actual fact, this Tuesday night, I'm doing a mastermind on how to produce a podcast, or how to do a podcast and the benefits of it.
Mhm.
So that's how important it is to business people to have their podcast, is that I felt that it's so important that I'm going to do an entire mastermind session on getting your own podcast running. There's the technology behind it. And I went through a number of different platforms. I got told off. Some of us might know a guy called, oh, what's his name? JT Fox. I was interviewing JT Fox, who isn't one to mess about, by the way. He doesn't mix his words. If he's got something to say, he will just say it.
Mm.
And you might have to edit this little bit out, by the way. He told me my microphone was crap. So I had to go and get myself a new microphone. And so building that infrastructure, then processing the videos. And I've done what, 70 podcasts in the last 9 months.
Mm.
And I think I'm just about getting it right now. I'm the respect I have for your production, your post-production is immense, because I say I'm getting it right, but you take it to a new level. You get it right and you make it look spectacular. Me, remember, I came from the person, here's the signed document, just make this M&A work. I'm a make it work sort of person. That I'm not a pretty person at all. I'm just get it done, make it happen type person.
Well, it says a lot for people out there that sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes it just needs to get done. And if it's done, you could tweak it, you could perfect it later. But so many people are so scared of taking an action because they don't believe it's polished, they don't think it's perfect, and they stop in their tracks. Somebody like yourself who makes things happen, makes it work, doesn't care about it being perfect, just goes out, makes it happen, and you can see that someone like yourself far exceeds what most other people can achieve. And that's something I wish I wish I could harness a little bit more of that in what I do, because I have to admit sometimes, man, I need to get a little bit better at this before I do this. And then you think
No.
about Craig. Wait a minute. Craig wouldn't think about that. Let's just go do it.
To give you an idea, I wrote up I decided to just step back one weekend and see what I've done in the last 70 days.
Mhm.
I produced 13 online training programs. I'd written 2 books. And the list just went on. And I drew all this up on a Visio diagram and it just filled the screen.
Mhm.
You've just got to keep clear as to what you're achieving. Now, can I show you the scariest thing in the world?
Definitely. It's close to Halloween, so definitely.
Oh, wasn't it? Okay, here it is. Do you know what that is?
A blank sheet of paper.
A blank sheet of paper. That is the scariest thing in the world.
Mhm.
The reason for that is, what do I do with it? I can't critique it. I can't tweak it. I can't modify it. I have to put something on it.
Mhm.
Coming up with something to put on it is the toughest part. Once you've got something on there, then you could, no, that isn't right. Scribble on this, change something, write something. But a blank sheet of paper, that's the scariest thing in the world.
Definitely.
Just get something down, put
Gotta,
something
gotta,
on
gotta tell my kids to dress up as a blank piece of paper. Um, for someone like yourself who's done so much, achieved so much, helping others achieve so much, what are you looking for? Like what is your perfect partner? What is your perfect I guess what is your perfect joint venture? Like what are you looking for?
it. Do you know what I find surprising? 70 podcasts in the last 9 months. There are, so I could count on one hand the number of people that I've spoken to in those podcasts that have come back to me after that and referred me to someone else
Mm.
and given me, they're happy to give reviews and say wonderful things about you. But I think it's about caring about the person. How can you add value? It's not, this isn't just a transaction doing a podcast,
Mm.
an interview like this. This is a commitment. I'm now committed to you and to how I can help you going forward in the future.
Mm.
So I would like to meet more people that are committed. And passion is everything. It So yes, that's what I would like to do. And that's how now I said that I've got a mastermind happening on Tuesday. The reason that I set up the mastermind was because if you look on my LinkedIn, I've produced over 180 articles on mergers and acquisitions. I've added a lot of value there. I've done videos. I've said I've done 70 odd podcasts, adding to people. From each podcast, you can get reels and things like that. So I've added a lot out there to the world. But the reason I set up the mastermind was I didn't feel I was getting enough people taking action and getting the results by everything that I was providing. So I thought, okay, let's get a mastermind happening where you can not only add focused value, but the one thing that people do need is accountability. They need an accountability partner.
Right.
And that's, to me, what, again, the mastermind is a disguise. As you can probably tell from me, if you ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer, and I'll tell you why as well. I don't do anything without a reason or having a motive behind it. So the mastermind is a disguise for these people to have an accountability partner so
And
that they
that
can
is
achieve more.
that is something a lot of people need. And when it's in a group environment, it works even better. I mean, so many people don't want to fall behind. So when you're in that group environment, you want to be at least at level with everybody else. And if somebody kind of goes further along and achieves more, now you want to feel like you want to do more and achieve the same amount of success and get that leveled off again. So that accountability works so much more effective when there's people around you. And for you
Yes.
to host that mastermind, I'm sure it's going to help a lot of people kind of get off their butt and kind of light that fire again because it's so hard sometimes to be self-motivated. Uh, it's important to have self-motivation, but sometimes you just need that extra push by the people around you. So thank you very much for
Yeah.
that.
The, if you're in this industry, you're in this business, or you're in any business, it is not, you cannot be all things.
Mhm.
You need partnerships. You need people to work with. You can't do it all yourself, no
Yeah.
matter how good you are. So find the right people to work with. And as I said before, if they're smarter than you, even better. That's the plan.
It's funny how this all kind of goes back to full circle where we're talking about you need to be with people that can help you. You have to be connected with people, and that's I think that's the overall theme for our show today. Thank
I
you
think
very
so.
much. But before I let you go, first, can you share with us more about the books that you have, your podcast? How do people find you?
LinkedIn is the best way to go. I I'm always on LinkedIn and I will always get back to you. You will get so much value by getting onto my LinkedIn account, and I'm always adding value on there. So that's the best way to go.
Awesome, great. And then your books.
My books, well, I will be releasing a M&A dental practice book this coming week. So
Awesome.
That's going to be my new one. I shut it down to do this interview, and I will have that totally finalized this weekend and get that out next week. So that's going to be my new release. But I've done a few here and there, and they've all been on business related subjects. But the problem with books is that you either read them once or you don't read them at all, or they just sit on the shelf. And that's why, again, going to a mastermind is the best way to go. Joining a mastermind group is the best way to go because that way you're in constant contact. You said we're off to this conference in a couple of weeks. Well, I try and timetable every 90 days that I'm doing something like that.
Right.
That keeps me motivated, keeps me around incredible people like yourself, and keeps me producing.
Awesome.
So that would be the other tip that I would give people.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Much appreciated. And I also have 5 rapid fire questions. Give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh, okay.
All right, shooting off the hip. So first off, you're stranded on a deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence. You'll still be in perfect shape, but you can eat whatever you want. So what's that one item?
Pasta.
Great choice. Hollywood calls and goes, "Hey, Craig, we love your story. So inspirational, so many teaching moments in your life. We would love to do a biopic of you. Who would you cast to play you?"
I've got no clue, but at this stage, because Mark Wahlberg is on my mind, I'm going to say Mark Wahlberg. Okay.
So Marky Mark shows up at your door and goes, "Hey, buddy, I got casted to play you. Let's hang out. Let's have some fun. Let's get to know each other." And you go, "Hey, Mark, don't worry about it. I got the night entirely planned out. Let's go." What does that look like? What are you guys doing?
Well, there'd have to be a hamburger involved, I'm sure. So, so we'll go for that. Got a great restaurant down the road there called Sophia's Pizza Place, and amazing. Gelatis, beautiful. So there's a theme of food going on there, isn't there?
You're taking them on a food tour.
Yeah, I like theatre, but if I'm going out with Mark Wahlberg, probably you'd have to probably go to the Spiegel House, which is more a cabaret type thing, I think.
Awesome. You have an opportunity to win the gold medal in any event that you could think of. What event would that be?
I was a tennis player.
Uh,
So yes, it would be tennis for me. Yes.
Very, very cool.
I didn't achieve my dreams in tennis, and if I had that opportunity again, I would change that.
Awesome. You're in a car ride for many, many hours. And for one reason or another, there's only one song that plays on repeat. What song do you don't mind listening to hours on end?
Oh wow! You're gonna get cancelled for this.
Great. I
It
think you can be singing, right? Are you singing?
would be Laura Branigan with Gloria.
Awesome. You want to sing a few bars?
No, I definitely do not.
That's all good. Give me a number from 1 to 5.
No, that was the
That's
first one, but that isn't between 1 and 5, is it? So I'm going to go 3.
1, 2, 3. Oh, so the word is crepe.
Oh,
All right. So if you had to use crepe as a metaphor for success, how is success like a crepe?
okay. I guess success is like a crepe in that it folds in on itself, and it has different sweet and sour depending on which bite you're having at the time. It's a lesson on you don't always get what you think you're going to get. You could have lemon squeeze on one and strawberry on the other side of it, and sometimes they blend together. Success isn't always what you think it is.
Nicely done. So that's how success is like a crepe. Once again, thank you very much for your time, your wisdom, your nuggets of advice. Much appreciated. Everybody out there, make sure you connect with Craig. Find him on LinkedIn. He has lots of great value on there. Check out his podcast, pick up his books, and maybe jump into his mastermind. I'm gonna guarantee you guys you're gonna get a lot of value from Craig. As you can tell, he is a person who is so willing to share, so willing to help, and somebody who is full of energy. Thank you very much for being here.
You're most welcome. And I'm looking forward to standing beside you with a vest on as well.
Yeah, I know we're one of the few people that wears vests at that event, so it's very easy to find us. Awesome. Thank you again. Once again, he's Craig. I'm Fong. Until next time, today is the day to lock your peak potential. We'll see you guys later.